I want to tell you something that I've never really said out loud here before. When I started this channel, I was scared. I'm not talking like a little bit nervous. I was actually scared. And it was for a lot of reasons. One of them is that I've had lots of small businesses over the years. I've been online a lot and nothing has ever really seemed to stick. So, in the back of my mind, there was this little voice that was saying that people were going to think I was flaky. People are going to remember the last thing I did, and then, the thing before that, and the thing before that. And they're going to wonder why I keep starting over. On top of that, video is just really like exposing, right? Like putting your face out there, putting your voice out there, hearing yourself talk, which I hate the sound of my own voice. All of that is just scary to me, and it still is, honestly. So, what did I do? I filmed anyway, and I posted it, and then I did it again the next week and the week after that. I've made a new video every single week since the beginning of this year. And I didn't have it all figured out. And it wasn't because I was super confident. I'm not worried about like monetizing or fancy editing or all the bells and whistles. I just film, I edit it together, and I put it up. So here's what that taught me about confidence. It does not come before taking action, it comes afterwards. So if you're waiting to feel confident before you begin, I really want to talk to you today because that wait is not really going to end the way you think it will. So before I go further, I want to tell you that I am working on something specifically around this idea. It'll be a resource to help you actually put this into practice instead of just understanding it intellectually. I want you to be the first to know when it's ready. So if you're not already subscribed here on YouTube, hit that button right now. And I'm also adding the link to join my email list in the description. Those are the two best ways to make sure that you don't miss anything. Okay, so let's get back to talking about confidence. Why do we believe confidence has to come first? Because that's really kind of how it looks from the outside. When you watch somebody who's confident, you're watching the after, not the before. You're seeing somebody who's already done the thing many times. You're watching the result of hundreds of smaller moments that you haven't seen. You didn't get to see their first attempt. You didn't see the shaking hands. You didn't see the embarrassing earlier version. So you think, oh, they were born that way, or they just had more courage than me. Or maybe, I'll feel that way when I'm more ready. But that's not what happened for them, and it's not how it works. Confidence is not a personality trait. It's not something that some people have and other people don't. It's basically like an output, and it's something that your brain generates based on evidence that it sees. The only way to generate that evidence is to actually do the thing.
Here's the way I think about it. Your brain keeps a file on you. I like to call it the evidence file. Every time you follow through on something, even if it wasn't perfect, even when it was hard, you add a piece of evidence to that file that says that you are someone who does things. Over time, that file is what your confidence is actually made of. So when you say, I believe in myself, what you're actually saying is, I have seen myself show up before and I trust that I will show up again. That's it. That's confidence. It's a track record that you build by doing things, which means the only way to feel confident about something you've never done is to do it. Even when you're not confident, even when it's terrifying, the action comes first always. I know that's not the answer people want. They want me to say, here's a mindset shift that will make you feel confident without doing the scary thing. But that's just not how it works. Your nervous system does not respond to pep talks, it responds to your experience. And the only experience that teaches you that something is survivable is surviving it. So, I have a few of my own stories to illustrate kind of like what I'm talking about here. The first one is my website, dannyclaire.com, and my social media accounts. Launching that website and my socials was basically its own version of the same thing. I was not ready. I did not feel qualified. I kept asking myself who I thought I was to be doing this. And I'm even going through that now. Building this brand in public is not a confident feeling every day, but I'm staying true to myself. I'm not listening to what everybody else says I should be doing. And every time I publish something, even when it's not perfect, usually it isn't, I add one more piece to my evidence file. So the next story is about my Dopey training. So the Dopey Challenge is 4 races across 4 days at Disney World: 5K, 10K, half marathon, and full marathon, all back to back. And so when I signed up, I did not feel ready. I still don't. I've had a really hard time with it recently, and training hasn't even officially started yet. Running here in Florida in the heat and humidity is brutal, but I keep going and I don't give up. Every single run, even the hard ones, builds confidence that I'm going to need on that race weekend. That's just how it works. My third example is when I went alcohol free. When I stopped drinking, I didn't have like a big moment. It wasn't like a big revelation where I suddenly felt like certain and ready. There were just ordinary days where I made that choice, and then another ordinary day, and then another. And somewhere in all of those ordinary days, the evidence just piled up and I kept going. Now that choice is one of the things I'm super proud of because I didn't wait to feel confident about it. I just kept choosing not to drink. All of these things made me more confident, but I didn't feel confident in the moment. That's the big paradox. So, how do you actually use this info? One of the things I've been working on, and this is part of what I wanted to share with you in what I'm building, is the idea of action goals. Most of us set outcome goals, like I want to run a marathon, or I want to launch a business, I want to lose weight. But those are results, and results are not really within your control. But an action goal is different. An action goal is entirely about what you do and not what happens as the result. So instead of I want to run a marathon, the action goal is I will follow my training plan. You can control that. You can show up for that. And every time you do, you're adding to that evidence file. This isn't a hack and it's not a shortcut. It's just like a more honest way of growing. You can focus on what you actually do, and then you let the confidence build as a result. This idea is one that I keep coming back to. I've talked about action goals a lot because it really has changed the way that I approach every single goal I set and every single thing that I work toward. Okay, now, I know what some of you are thinking. What about the days when you literally just can't do the thing? Either life gets in the way, or you're exhausted, overwhelmed, or you tried it and it didn't work and you just don't want to try again. Here's my answer: make the action smaller. Don't get rid of it, just make it smaller. If the goal was to run 5 miles and you can only manage one, run one. If the goal was to write a full blog post and you can only manage one paragraph, write the paragraph. When you keep showing up, even on the hard days and even imperfectly, you're building something you never would if you kept waiting for the confidence to start. This isn't inspirational fluff. This is literally how the evidence file gets built. Small actions repeated consistently over time are way more powerful than one big effort followed by a long silence. So, what I want you to take from today is this: you already have enough to start. Whatever you are waiting to feel confident about, that confidence is on the other side of actually starting. What would you do this week if you didn't feel the need to feel confident first? I want you to really think about that and maybe write it down. And then, if you're willing, share it with me in the comments. I do read them and I really want to know. So, if you want to follow along with what I'm building and be the first to hear about the resources I'm working on, you can join my email list. The link is in the description. And this is where I share the most personal stuff and where you'll hear about things that I'm working on or doing before anyone else. And also, if you want to support my Dopey Challenge fundraiser for the American Cancer Society, I'm putting that link below as well. Every single donation helps, even if it's just $5. And it really, it means something to me personally based on my history with cancer. So yeah, thank you for being here, and I will see you next week.